Just going to do a quick video here just to show you the new IPEX phone system. This is the eMG-80. It's basically for digital phones is where the sweet spot is. Probably going to replace the LDK series. I'm assuming this, which is also the SPX. This will be known as the vertical Summit, I believe. Of course, we're a LG dealer, so we're going with the eMG-80, the LG Ericsson version. It's a nice looking unit. It's a little bit smaller form factor than the SPX or the LDK as far as height and width go. It's a little bit deeper. Nice charcoal gray color. This is the inside of the unit. This is actually an expansion card at the top right hand corner. So this card is the system is actually carded for 8 phone lines, 16 digital ports, and 4 analog ports. You can also add another expansion card to put even more in there, so it'll actually expand further than the SPX or LDK would with just one cabinet. You can add a second cabinet as well. This is a little bit closer up view, and you can see in the middle there's a dip switch. Always want to make sure that dip switch is turned off so it doesn't default your programming once you've initialized the system. This is a side view. You've got the LAN port on the bottom left hand, a USB, a serial cable that you probably won't use much at all. One of the things I'm not crazy about on this system is the wiring. I don't know why they don't just put an Amphenol cable on there instead of doing all these different digital ports, because you can see through the picture of how the configuration is. You know, on the bottom right hand corner you'll see the card that comes with the system, the built-in card. It comes with 8 digital extensions and 4 analog extensions. So the wiring on the first 4 phones are you just straight, tip and ring off the center pair, but then you get to the last 4 and then you're sharing with a digital phone and a single line. Those aren't hybrid ports. Those are 4 of each. So to me, it'd be better just to put an Amphenol cable in there and be done with it. Otherwise, I really love the system. I love the way it programs. I like what it does. I like that it's just almost the same programming wise as the other IPEX system. So I'm not having to learn another user interface or start fresh with programming, because that's always frustrating, especially as you get older. But I really like it. That's the only downside I've seen so far is that the wiring. But it is what it is. So let's take a look at a phone for just a second. This is a 30-button phone. It's a full duplex speaker phone, so it's got great sound quality. It's got a backlit display which you can turn it on and off in programming. Very nice set. It's got a built-in wall mount bracket, so no more having to buy a separate wall mount bracket or forgetting to buy one and not having it when you need it. These phones are not brand new to say. They've been out for a while. I know we put in a system last September or so, regular IPEX, where the IT guy of all people did not want voice over IP phones, but he wanted digital phones, so we used these. Nice phones. The only thing I don't like about them is some of the buttons don't have just regular labels on them. They don't say hold or program. They have these little symbols on them, and to me it just takes a bit more getting used to and just a little bit more difficult to use versus a phone that has the buttons labeled. It does have the 30 programmable phone buttons on the side. Kind of reminds you of an old Vodavi XTS set. Very nicely built. The paper, you have to be careful when you're printing the DESIs, because they do tend to get stuck in the printer. They'll hook on each other. The way I found best to work around that is to put a piece of plain paper in between each of the DESIs, and it seems to print very well that way. You do have a message waiting indication on the top right hand of the phone. It flashes really bright, gets people's attention. Nice phone overall. Let's take a look at the programming interface. The eMG-80 is programmed via any web browser. You simply go to the IP address of the KSU, the default is 10.10.10.2, which is the same default address as used for the IPEX. It'll prompt you for a user ID and password. I believe the default is admin as a user ID and password is 1234. I've changed that on this particular unit. This programming looks almost identical to the regular IPEX phone systems that we're used to, the LIKs. The interface is just a little bit different. Top of the page here we have the system ID, the system overview. We can put a site name in here, save it. And once we log out and log back in, you'll notice that the name appears up here as test system, so that's kind of handy so you remember who you're programming. Go back up there, system overview. Shows you what all is programmed in there, all the stations you have. Device port number change. You can change IP addresses if you had IP phones. These are all digital, so we can't really change those at the moment. But this is where you would change the IP address. IP address, the phone system itself, the router IP, the system IP range. This is what the phone system would hand out to different IP phones if you were using those. And it will only hand out IP addresses to telephones or phone equipment. Second IP address if you needed it, subnet mask. Firewall IP address if you're using this on a one-to-one NAT type of basis with the router, you put the external IP address in there, and always put a DNS. Some of the things, your different sequence numbers, flexible station numbers are easy to change. 1 through 50 up here to display the first 50. Flexible numbering plan, we can change the different feature numbers if we wanted to. Usually don't want to mess with this too much. Station data, this is where we program all their different station attributes. It tells you the station type here. Right now it's just a digital station on 100. If we wanted to change it to one of the DSS consoles, that's where we would do it with and put the associated number. Common attributes, this is the main station programming. Different features here, just like on any phone system. Again, this is just almost identical to the regular IPEX systems that we're used to. I'm used to. Not going to go into a whole lot of detail here. Terminal attributes. Flexible button programming. Come here, simply put everything you got there. You can put a label in there if you want to. Make sure whenever you're programming any of these attributes that you always either check the button or check all, because if you don't, it's not going to save it. Station classes service programming. Let's take a quick look at the voicemail attributes under station data. This is just a little bit different than the regular IPEX systems that I'm used to. This is where you put in the email address, so you can have a WAV file emailed to you, and it does work. It emails you not only the notification, but also the WAV file, so you can play it right on your smartphone or your PC or any other data device. You simply put in your SMTP server address here, put in your email address. If you're not using a local server and you require the server ID, server password, and you can even put the sender mail address here, change a different port. So you can even configure it to work with like a Gmail type of service, so you don't have to have your own SMTP server in-house. Just again, make sure you hit the check marks and then hit save, and it's there. Again, there's all kinds of different things. Don't want to go through right now, but I'll go through like serial line attributes. You can do an overview, shows you what kind of lines you have. These are all normal, what group they're in. Change the attributes here, and do a range or just one line, whichever you want to do. Okay, and you have, of course, the system data, music sources. You can actually upload your own music file to what they call the VSF, which is the voicemail interface. put it in as one of the menu options, and then that file will play whenever somebody's put on hold. Just remember, it does take a bit of your voicemail capacity to do that. Again, the different access codes, system date and time, you can have it automatically choose for daylight savings time, and an even better thing for people that really hate to change their telephone time or don't change it is you can put in an NTP server, so if it's connected to the network, it can get out. It just checks the time automatically, and nobody ever has to worry about checking that or setting that time again. Some things like CO call rerouting, I've never really used this, but you can. You can actually put in to the system to recognize certain caller IDs and to route those accordingly. Of course, if everybody having cell phones and different numbers, that often becomes a tiresome effort. It will never get used, but sometimes it's nice to be able to maybe perhaps block a call or something like that. System speed dial number, index range is between 2,000 and 4,999. Who's ever going to use that many speed dials? I do not know. Station group data, these are also what we'd call hunt groups. And you go in, you can hit the overview, and you can see here that I've assigned group number 401 is the VSF VM. You always have to assign one group, and we always do the first one is your voicemail. Otherwise, your voicemail will not work. Otherwise, these rest are just for regular hunt groups of whatever type you want to use. You can select different groups: circular hunt, terminal hunt, ACD, ring call, voicemail. This would be a voicemail that's not built in, a third-party voicemail pickup group. And VSF VM is your internal voicemail that's built into it. UMS voicemail, I'm not sure if that's working yet for the eMG-80. Net voicemail, that's not working either, and UCS. The different group attributes you can assign. Pickup groups, add a bunch of pickup groups. ISD and line data, SIP data. This will take 2 SIP trunks right out of the box, and you can buy licenses to get up to 8 more internally, and I believe you can buy an additional card to get you up to 16 SIP trunks. And these are built in. These look just like the regular IPEX we're used to. IPEX does SIP trunking very, very well. I'm assuming this will as well. The eMG-80, I have not tried that yet. Tables data, least call routing, emergency code tables. Always got your 911 in there. If you have another emergency code, you can put that in, or if you have a test code you want to do, like sometimes we'll do 811 for a test code, put it in there and save it, and that shoots it out as an emergency call. Of course, your class of service. Station authorization code table. This is your voicemail passwords. So station 100, put in whatever authorization code you wanted to have. Righty. Networking. Again, these are just like the regular IPEX systems, except for green mode. I've never seen this one before. Apparently, you can have the phone system power up and power down at certain times of day to save a little bit of electricity. Of course, this thing looks like it uses such little electricity. I don't know why you would ever want to do that, but I guess it's there maybe as a selling point. One more thing about the system data. Of course, you can change your attendant right in here. Attendant assignment is defaulted as 100. Let's see. Web access authorization. You can give individual stations access to the web interface. You can do an admin web interface, and you can select what all they have access to. So if you as an installer want to keep everything open to you, of course, but you may have a local admin that you don't want to give all the details to, but you can give them some and password protect that. Okay, the maintenance. This is we can do a software upgrade, download your database. So if I wanted to save this database, you just click download, and it's just a matter of moments. The system will be backed up, and we'll have that, for future reference.